Hey, it's Clay Trader, and this will be a video chart on CNBR, Cinnabar Ventures Incorporated. I actually do own shares in this, but it's one of those things where I got in a lot lower than where it is now. But nonetheless, I wanted to do the video chart on it because it's a nice looking chart. It also is a good little chart lesson here too. But I can't take credit for actually finding this one. I had a buddy alerted me on this one, and I actually bought in right here on the dollar break. I can't remember exactly where I got in. But anyways, got in there, and the reason I got in the dollar, pretty much it made this nice move here, consolidated, and then the dollar's always just a psychological resistance anyway. So sure, it wasn't technically a chart resistance, but just from a psychological standpoint, I knew it was. And it's made very nice moves since then, pulled back, and now is on new highs today on increasing volume here. So like I said, I do own shares in this. I want to state that up front, but at the same time, it's only about 20% of my original position, as I've slowly taken profits off the table. So real quick, what's the charting lesson in this one? Well, let me take a step back and first say that you may be wondering why this chart looks so bare. Well, that's because it's a very new stock. In fact, the only indicator right now that's able to really pop up besides volume is the 10-day simple moving average, because none of these other days, or the chart, excuse me, can't put together any of these calculations because there's not enough days left. So that's why there's really only one line there. That's just because that's the only one that has the variable that's been able to be calculated so far. But what I want to point out is, how the 10-day, which is this simple moving average, can really be a nice little support level. And you can see that the price made a nice move up, and then it started to fall. But the key thing that chartists and traders will watch is that 10-day, and they'll want to see how does the price react around it. And you can see right there, it came down, bounced right off it. Once again, bounced off it, and then that's where the separation finally came. So just a great example of how the price came down, hovered right around the 10-day, and in fact, a few times, actually hit it and bounced off, and now you can see where we are now. So this video is not going to be too in-depth, just because I can't really say too much besides go over that lesson and then point out some support levels, because it's a new stock here. It's in a completely blue sky breakout territory now. Before today, I could at least mapped out this level here as resistance and said, hey, $1.75, that's resistance. But then after today, obviously that was crushed. So this is actually now one of our first support levels that you'll need to keep an eye on. And 175, and then there's another one down here. Maybe you can just make it a resistance zone if you want, or excuse me, a support zone. But that level is at the high of this candle that I'm saying, so that's $1.55. So these are going to be our two static supports, and then our dynamic support, meaning that it increases as time increases, is going to be just simply the 10-day, and eventually the 20-day simple moving average will show up, and then eventually the 50-day will. But for the time being, all we have is the 10-day, so that's what we have to use as our dynamic support level right now. Like I said, well, we are in a blue sky, but at the same time, I guess technically we have a little resistance. So what I'm going to do here is just make this a real skinny red line, because we didn't close at the high. So the high today was 205, and it ended up closing at 202. So this is, like I said, technically resistance, but I'm going to make it a real skinny red line to just show that, with any sort of, another big push up, I don't see that one putting up much of a fight. The last thing I want to note here on the chart is you're seeing that as the price bounced off this 10-day, you can see that each day volume got bigger and bigger. That's ideal. If the price does decide to pull back here or go sideways, you'd like to see volume kind of drop back off again. But with any sort of upwards continued movement, the bigger the volume bars, the better. But with the sideways or pullback action, you want to see volume dry up a little bit more. But overall, a nice looking chart, very strong. Like I said, I do own shares in it, but put it on your radars, and it may be going higher here, but as always, trade accordingly and trade smart. But I think it's worth at least making note of here. If you do have any other questions on the chart, please shoot me a message. I'd also encourage you to check out bullmarketnewsletter.net. If you go there and sign up for the newsletter, you'll be sent a free ebook, and then with your subscription, which is free, you'll get chart setups, trade ideas, educational pieces, all sorts of things from big boards down to penny stocks. So there's good variety, something for everybody. And like I said, it is all free, so it's worth at least checking out. One more time, this was CNBR. Thanks for listening, and have a great Thanksgiving.